Don't. You can't. Only I can have that. Only I'm allowed.
You need to pray.
Oh, it started. Bless me, Heavenly Father,
For I have sinned.
for I have come.
I'm not gay no more.
I like women.
How was your week? You said it was slow.
Pretty, yeah. Dull. Yours?
It was all right. Got a little naked.
A little bit. What'd you have?
Chance.
Talk about you silly little crack of ass.
I just realized your new banister.
Yeah.
Is that paraphernalias?
No, those are flowers.
Oh, okay. Phew. Scared me a little bit.
In a bong, but those
What?
are flowers.
So, I heard this idea today that I think will resonate with you, because it resonated with me. A guy wrote a book about it. It's called Luxury Ideas. And he talks about how...
Mercedes ideas?
Yes, exactly what I was going to say. He talks about how most of the people who have these, like, trans ideas or believe, like, for an example, he talked about this chick who believed that not everybody should be in a marriage. And then as he asked her how she grew up, she said that she grew up where both her parents were married, and then she said she's probably going to continue the chain, but she doesn't believe that everybody should be married. And then, so he, basically his whole point is that only people who have these kinds of ideas are the people who are, like, wealthy and, like, you know, like, trust fund kids and shit like that, because, like, that's where the trans movement and political ideas come from and shit like that, the bad ones, because they have nothing better to do. They're probably sitting online all day.
Yeah, they have a peaceful way of life.
Exactly.
Like, warriors tend to want peace, and bureaucrats tend to want war. And they're not the ones that get to fight it. Also, not everybody's supposed to be talking either. That's why social media is not good, because not everybody's supposed to be talking. Like, doing this podcast, I'm not even sure we're supposed to be talking, but we just do it
Probably
to fuck
not.
around and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's just like a respect thing between me and you.
I'm definitely not supposed to be talking. I'm black.
Not everybody's supposed to be talking. Yeah. I didn't say it, but it has been said.
I heard Twitter's falling apart again.
I fucking
Is that
love it.
true?
I mean, I don't like comment or anything. I just scroll through it, but I like it. It's actually got. That's probably a headline from like some fake news, because it's actually got the most.
Well, I heard it on a podcast.
Most user interactions that it's ever had in these past couple months. Keeps going up.
I think that's I know that's because Elon bought it. There would be no fucking way.
Yeah. Saw a comment that there's a comment under Elon. I think Biden tweeted something about like, oh, we've done this and we've done that, and then Elon commented, he's like, hey, the banks are melting. And then someone commented under Elon's and was like, you're capitalism's biggest disgrace and socialism's biggest motivator. And then like it wasn't Elon, but another person commented, it was like, go move to a thriving socialist country if that's your vibe. Like,
Yeah.
There is none, because it doesn't fucking work.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
Talk to
mean,
someone. Talk to your dad. Someone that's been in a communist or socialist state. They don't want to hear a fucking lick of that
No.
shit. They don't want to smell that shit
He
in
knows
your brain.
where it leads.
Get the fuck. Yeah, that costs people millions of lives.
Mhm.
Their countries are ruined because of that shit.
That's how North Korea started the way it is now,
Yeah.
because they were like, give us all the farmland and nobody will be hungry anymore. And they were talking about
And
how,
now those are our cows. This is our farmland,
Yep,
and
yep.
we're gonna tax you for it.
and
you
if
don't
your
get to keep it.
cheeks aren't sunken in, then they know you're hiding
You've
food.
been eating,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
then they blame you.
Yeah.
They're like, you fucking did.
And they want to kill 90% of their population. They want to starve them out.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
That's insane.
Obviously, America's starving too, so.
Clearly. Do you know how many fat people I counted when we were in that gym? Fucking too many.
One.
Yeah, 1 plus like 15. The majority of people in there were overweight.
I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, hey, at least you're here. But then there's that guys and gals, I should say, can't be sexist.
Guys, gals, and thems.
Yep, and binaries and non-binaries and snakes and
No.
uncles.
That's my other thing. I'm okay with learning they, them. Once you start throwing around Z, Zim, and Bugs, Boogsy, get the fuck out. I'm not making up words because you're going to get offended. Grow some thicker skin and deal with that shit.
The only time I call them a they or a them is if I don't know what the fuck to call them, or I'm trying not to offend a person I'm talking to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't outwardly, like, offend, like, live your life, I don't care. But, like, once it starts changing laws and changing how my little sister is growing up and what she views about society, then it becomes a personal issue and I can't deal with it.
Well, I was charging my phone while I was driving home from work, and they were talking about because I put on the regular radio.
No way.
Yep, exactly. it's like fuck. Woo! How the fuck did that happen?
That's insane.
But
you can turn on a radio?
Yes,
Why
but
did they
you gotta
start doing that?
turn it up so that you can hear it.
Shit.
But they were talking about how I think there was I don't know, I didn't look it up, probably should have, but you know, we talk out of our asses here. But they're talking about how they just passed laws where you can't give children puberty blockers or surgery like that until they're 18. It was only in Iowa, I think, though. Reynolds passed it. You can't do that until they're 18. No child is going to use the opposite bathroom of their gender. But the parent can ask the school to let them use a bathroom specifically for them or use the staff-only bathroom.
What's your opinion on no sex change, no HRT? No,
I was happy about it because you shouldn't be changing anything until you're 18.
You know what I heard on the radio, on Rolando's radio today? That they passed a law in Iowa that the kids can just use whichever bathroom fits their gender identity.
Really?
In locker rooms, yeah.
So I wonder which is true. Maybe I just heard
They're probably trying to give an inch without them taking a mile. They're probably like, okay, you guys can use the bathrooms, but you're not cutting kids' dicks off and shit.
Yeah.
That's way too crazy. Which I'm okay with. If they stop the line at sex change before, like sex change for minorities, Jesus Christ, minors. Yeah, minorities.
Talking about me.
Them damn Mexicans better not be getting no fucking sex change, I swear.
But like, I got 2 thoughts. And
No way.
I'll hold one. Nah, I only got 0. But
smooth brain, no thunk.
I'll be careful here.
All right.
So I feel like that shouldn't be a thing either, because like, what if you're a dude just saying you're a female?
I don't want my 6th grade sister seeing dicks in her fucking
That's
locker
what I'm
room.
saying. It's like
I don't like it.
It's like the men who are on trial saying they're women and then going into the women's prisons and raping them.
It is funny that women complain about like the patriarchy of the males, but then like all the awards for like swimming and woman of the year went to transgender women that were men, and they're just letting it happen.
Yeah, it's fucked up. That's why I like listening to Bridget, because she's always screaming women, because she's like for women. She knows that like it's really just the men taking over in another manner.
It's just a different direction that they're conquering.
And you remember David Buss was talking about how
I didn't listen to that one yet.
Oh, haven't you?
No, I forgot my earbuds at home, so I didn't get to listen.
Okay, so basically, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say some science here. The reason that we are like we hold resources and we give resources and shit like men do is because that's what women are evolutionary designed to do. Is they want to look for men that have resources and give resources and share them and shit.
Survival. Yeah.
Exactly. But then my other point was Jordan Peterson talks about how most kids, especially in our society now with all these open ideas, have these kinds of thoughts about, oh, I'm not comfortable in my body. And especially women, they're like, oh, I'm not comfortable in my body and shit like that. But most kids grow out of it past 18. Like they get comfortable in their bodies and shit. Like, do you remember being that young? Like, I know I wasn't comfortable in my body.
I still don't know if I'm comfortable, but I think the feeling... I don't know if when transgender people say they're not comfortable in their body, I think they just feel like it's the wrong body. But maybe that makes them feel uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable, but my uncomfortability was just not being like jacked as fuck, not like being a sexy dude or anything like that. That was my uncomfortability. It wasn't like I feel wrong or like I'm not this. Because transgender people do exist. People that have different psyches that believe they're in a different body. Those people do exist, and there's people that don't rub it in your face that are super cool about it. They're just different people, and they're cool. Then there's a whole other side. There's transgenders that are cool ass people, and then there's all the other ones, you know.
So do you think it's
As well.
more, you're not uncomfortable in your body, but you're uncomfortable in your brain, and you try to put that on your body?
It would have to be.
That's what I'm
the body's not thinking that it's uncomfortable. The body's just the body. It doesn't have a brain.
That's
the-
true.
The heart kind of has a brain.
Heart
it's
and
like
gut.
its own brain, but it's not like having thoughts. It's just processing and telling the brain what is it experiencing. But
Yeah, that's true. So you never wanted to. Well, I guess I never wanted to cut my dick off. That thought's never even crossed my mind until I learned about like all these other people and shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing to yourself?
cut my dick off.
Get a vagina?
I mean, $20 is $20. I'd cut my dick off. No, that's fucking crazy. I had a little conspiracy theory for you.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the Jesuits the Christians founded the Federal Reserve in December of 1913. World War I starts in like early 1914. So they started a federal bank, and then they needed money. So they immediately went to war, and we haven't really stopped doing that since. And there was 3 men on the Titanic that were like basically the Elon Musks of their time, like really headstrong capitalists that didn't support the Federal Reserve. And they were really rich, and they were on the Titanic, and they sank and drowned and died.
Yeah.
And there's like a conspiracy that the people that started the Federal Reserve sank the boat. But I think about that, and then I'm like, how the fuck did they plant a whole ass iceberg in the ocean? Like,
Well, I've got a couple questions and a comment. Did you say
I'm
that?
not answering them. No questions at this time.
I'm fucking leaving.
Okay.
So you said it was founded in 1913?
December of 1913.
Okay, then that's all cleared up.
World War One starts in early 1914.
Yeah.
Not early. I think it's like middle of 19.
My comment was, how the fuck do we know what happened to the Titanic? Like, yeah,
That's
maybe
true.
it did sink from an iceberg, but maybe they paid off the captain. Maybe something
Maybe they
else
paid off
happened.
the iceberg.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they told that iceberg.
Maybe it wasn't an iceberg. It would have to be an iceberg though, because like you couldn't get everybody to survive to agree with one thing, right? But they are starting the
How
Federal
many did
Reserve, so they're
survive?
rich as fuck, so they could pay everybody.
So is that conspiracy about like what Eisenhower was talking about, the military industrial complex started just fueling
This is
war for
before
money?
Eisenhower's time. This is
Oh yeah,
1912.
but like it's the same concept, right? You're fueling war for money. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I think they figured that out though. I think they started the Federal Reserve and were like, how can we make money? And then they came up with, hey, let's go to war. And then that machine, that wheel has never stopped turning.
So did they go to World War One? Okay.
It's not for sure that they went to World War One
For the
because
money.
of the Federal Reserve,
Mhm.
but the Federal Reserve definitely grew because of World War One.
See, I don't know about. I'm not versed in that. I don't know what our reasoning, like mainstream reasoning, was to go into World War One. I
Fuck
know
'em.
Nazis were trying to. We were fucking them in the butthole.
I thought that was World War Two. It was Nazis.
Well, World War One was caused by the Germans too. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
it was caused by the Germans, but it wasn't Hitler and the Nazis.
Oh yeah, you're right.
World
You're
War
right.
Two was Hitler and the Nazis.
And that's socialism too. That's crazy.
That's fascism.
Well, the Nazi party's called like the something socialism. It's got socialism in the name.
Yeah, and Russia is called Russia.
Well, I'm just saying the
It's
Nazis.
just names. You can rearrange words all you want to try and get your answer, but your actions speak louder than those words you're rearranging.
That's true.
Yeah.
He had a plan to come fucking for America. Could you imagine if he succeeded?
He designed I don't know if he designed the bomber, but there was a bomber that could have made it to New York from Germany.
That'd be wild.
She, Negro.
Imagine.
I need a spitter.
Imagine we don't take down Hitler, and he succeeds in his plan to take back his great nation
Hold
of
on a
Germany
minute.
that he wants to do, and we're Nazis right now.
I wish that would have happened. That fucking suck. You ever played Wolfenstein?
I watched my dad play it.
Yeah, that's
A
basically
little
what
bit.
that game is if Hitler won the war.
That'd be wild.
Yeah,
That'd be so insane.
it's a fun game. I guess there's like 3 of them now.
Do you think we're more likely going to World War III or just fucking? Let me reiterate that question. World War III or Civil War II?
I don't know. I recently re-listened to the Tulsi Gabbard one. And that has me convinced on World War III. But then I go on Twitter and I get convinced of Civil War II. So it's difficult. I wish a different country would like bomb us or something drastic like that, so everybody would like come together and stop hating each other. Okay, here's my thing. I'm not saying that our government is trying to make us upset, make us poor, and make us hate each other. But if they were, what would they do differently?
That's the thing.
Not a lot, right?
Yep.
Like maybe they would input like crazy lockdowns and like gun restrictions and
Which
shit
they
like
did
that.
during COVID.
Yeah.
And they're always
Which
trying
is
to get rid
weird,
of the
right?
guns. Yeah. Democrats are always trying to get
I'm
rid
not
of the
saying
guns.
they're trying to do that shit, but if they were trying to do it, what would change?
They'd be doing a
It would
pretty
be the
damn good
exact
job if
same
that was
life
the
we're
plan.
living.
Yep.
That shit freaks me out, man.
Well, when you
Because why? Why do that?
That's what I'm saying. When you're talking about the Federal Reserve, the dude who runs that shit, I was listening to a economic podcast, and he was saying that the dude is always saying that he wants to lower inflation to 2%. And the dude who was running the podcast was like, if you can lower it to 2%, why
You can
wouldn't
put
you
it at
keep going
zero.
lower?
You can put it at -1. You can make shit get cheaper.
Exactly. And on top of that, he was saying that it's going to be a stable 2%, but every year it's going to go up 2%. He was literally contradicting himself.
What are we at right now?
That's what I want to know.
Like you can't. Is it like 10%?
I have no idea.
Because if it's 10%, then that's 5 years we have until we're back to square one again. So what you're playing is shit.
That's true.
And it's not like, to get back to the war thing, the World War III or the Civil War, it's not like we're not at war. Like, we still sell arms and everything. Like, a lot of people don't know about Yemen, Syria, all these countries we've been at war at. Like, if you look at, like, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all these places, they look the same, and it's because of us.
And even if we're not in a physical war, we're in a mental war with all the Russian farms in China.
We're in a mental war with each other nowadays, and it's
Mhm.
fucking disheartening, because we're all humans, and we're all Americans.
I used to freak out about that because I heard about China's 2049 plan to take over America without firing a single bullet or stepping foot on our land. They just take over one or both political parties in the news media. And then I seen Biden get elected, and everything he's
freaky,
done.
right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've heard a story of Hunter Biden, or either Biden or Hunter
Getting
Biden
money from
getting-
China and Ukraine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I had something and I forgot because I got engrossed in what you were saying. Let me think. I can't remember. Shit. How'd you start that?
2049 plan.
Yeah. China also had a plan to implement their social credit thing, and that didn't work because they don't have enough infrastructure and computer power to keep track of like 3 billion people. It just didn't work.
Yeah, they got a lot of fuckers there.
Yeah, so like not all their plans are gonna work.
See, but do
not
they
all
really?
of our plans work.
Do they really have to implement it for 3 billion though? Because
No, they're probably just doing it to people they want to watch.
that, and
It's like the NSA on steroids.
most people there are slaves and don't have money at all because of their government power. So they only have to watch the elites if they're really going to do that. Because how many people can really buy stuff in China? How many people have the money to do that?
Maybe we should move to China.
You know what? Yeah, let's go be Chinese
China seems
spies.
pretty cool, honestly. I don't see Thailand. Is it Thailand? What's the country they're always beefing with? Taiwan? I don't see Taiwan as a country. It's the Republic of China. Remember when John Cena apologized for that shit?
In Chinese and
That's
Mandarin?
wild.
That's fucking insane.
One of the most American-looking motherfuckers speaks fluent Mandarin and
Yeah.
apologized for calling Taiwan a country.
WWE wrestler and
A country that America is allied with.
That is insane. You know how hard that language is to fucking learn?
Well, you know why? It's because they sold a lot of box office tickets in China.
Mm,
They didn't want to lose all that revenue.
that's
Because
insane.
China accounts for a lot of movie views.
Yeah, that's another
Come on,
problem though.
there's
They
so many
fucking,
people.
That's why they changed Doctor Strange, because he was supposed to be a Taiwan man that was teaching Doctor Strange the shit, but now it's a white woman who's bald because they wanted to sell in China.
A Muay Thai motherfucker just kicking the shit out of John. Strange.
Yeah. So, I got a question for you.
No.
We see a lot of motherfuckers at our job who should probably not be there.
Yeah.
How do you think you should act in a profession if you were to get a job? And do you think you're supposed to act respectfully? You're supposed to stand up for yourself? And how do you think you find a profession, a permanent one?
You gotta be respectful and assertive. A permanent profession? I don't know if that like really exists, because like a lot of people don't want to work their whole life, right?
Mhm.
I mean, a permanent thing could be like if you had your dream job, that could be a permanent thing. I don't plan on staying Bago permanently, but it is weird that some of those people you're describing do stay at Winnebago permanently, which is fucking wild. I can't believe their heart is still beating. All the
Yeah.
shit we breathe in.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they go home and get fucking blackout.
Mm-hmm. And they smoke on top of that, which we do too, but it's like, god damn.
It's just
But
compound.
they've been doing it for like 40, 50
Yeah, that's
years.
the
It's
other
like,
thing.
how are you still walking?
Yeah. Fucking Dale, dude. Oh, you know the welder has settings on it? Holy shit.
Make sure you plug some
Is
battery
that
in
what the
this
knob
thing.
is? Christ.
But what I meant by a permanent profession is most people think that you're supposed to choose a job and work it until you retire. You think that's how we should be doing it, or you think we should? See, I think Winnebago is good for us for a little while because there's so many things you can learn in there, so many different skills. But if you're at like McDonald's or something, obviously I've worked there before and it's a decent job to start at, but there's only so much you can learn. And I feel like you should be learning as many skills as you can to beef up your fucking, whatever it is, your resume or whatever the fuck you need for another job.
Yeah. I think
Your sense
Working-
of competency or some shit.
Yeah, I think working for 40 years and retiring, like you said,
Mhm.
used to work. Because you used to be able to have a car, have a house, raise a family, put the kids through school on one man's income. Like I went to work, did a 9 to 5, came home with his family, and did that Monday through Friday, and everything was bought and paid for by him. Now,
Pfizer.
I'm in a fucking apartment in debt because inflation is so crazy and everything's so expensive. I mean, when cars used to come out back then, they were the equivalent of like $2,000 of today's money. Not even. Like
Wow.
a brand new like Dodge Charger would have been like $2,000.
And that was an expensive one.
Yeah, and that would have been back then. But still, like Steve, my grandpa, he had a buddy that was a cart pusher, and I know you don't know cars that well, but the Dodge Judge, it's like this awesome, like it was a really fast car for the time. He bought that as like a grocery store cart pusher.
You've
It
told
was,
me
it
that
was
before.
it was like the equivalent of like today's Dodge Demon.
What did you call the car?
It's called the Judge. It's a Dodge like Challenger Charger or something.
So it kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it's like a 69 or like 70, 71.
Damn.
All the cars after 71 get kind of dookie because they implemented the Emissions Act in like the later half of 71.
And that's why the cars.
But they still design the car for next year in that year. So then the 72s are sometimes okay, but anything past that.
What did they do to them then? They just fucking.
Yeah, you couldn't, like, all the big V8s basically got outed. You had to have like a certain amount of emissions and miles per gallon.
So were there a lot more cooler cars then, or?
A lot less cooler cars
Mm.
because less freedom. When you add rules,
No, I mean, like,
that's
before
another
that rule was added, was there a lot more cars that
yeah.
you could get away with?
way fucking cooler, cheaper, because less research and development because there was no constraints. Another thing is, laws should, like, the more laws you add, the harder your freedom gets. It should be, to implement a law, you need 60% of the vote. To erase a law, you need 40% of the vote. Because the more and more, like, imagine we have a notepad, and on this one sheet of paper, we can write down the laws, and people can operate within them. And then we keep writing down laws. Eventually, we run out of space, and people don't have anywhere to operate in. That's basically where we're at this point, because there's
That's
too
what
many
I was about to
laws.
say. They never get rid of any laws.
Yeah.
They always make laws, but there's never any getting taken out. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's still laws where you can't tie horses up or flush the toilet out after a certain time.
Yeah, no suspicious salmon activities.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I feel like the system is working exactly the way it's designed.
You think they designed it this way on purpose?
I don't think I shouldn't say designed because the founding fathers didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, but I think it's working as intended, as the elites intended to work.
Mm-hmm.
99% of the humans on Earth are slave labor workforce, and then there's 1% that benefits off of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so wealthy you will never even know their names or see them.
I know Joe Rogan.
Dude, no way!
Founding fathers were fucking... I would kill to go back and meet those motherfuckers because they planned so well for fucking human bullshit.
Dude, smoke a joint with the founding fathers.
I think Thomas Jefferson did opium.
Dude's racking out the hair. Holy shit. That's metal as fuck. I'd go back to Egypt. I'd kill like a whole family to go back to ancient Egypt.
That'd be dope.
I'm not gonna kill a whole family.
The FBI is coming for us.
But if someone was like, I have proof that you can go to ancient Egypt, all you have to do is kill 4 people.
You talking like during the dynastic periods where the pharaohs ruled, or are you talking before that when the pyramids and shit were being built?
I'm gonna have to read the fine print on the deal, but I'm gonna try and weasel my way into just not being like alive and walking around, but being able to like look at it and just see it, see like the whole process from like when people got there to when they're building the pyramids to when everything like fucked up in the Romans game.
Imagine that's what happened when you fuck. I can't talk anymore.
Imagine this. Have you ever when you dream when you can do anything?
Imagine that's what happens when you die. You fucking go into this dimension where you're only your soul, and it's maybe an energy form, and you can see all of human history and all of any other life's history.
That'd be awesome.
That would
I
be
hope you also
fucking
get to see like the top 5 times you almost died without even like noticing.
Probably a lot.
Like some crazy psychopath murderer had like road rage and just chose to drive past you instead of unloading a clip into your car.
I didn't even
or one
think
of
about
the
that.
people you yelling at the street was like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill this guy," and then they got like a text from their mom or something.
Oh, I can't do that to my mom.
Can't kill this guy because my mom's hungry. I gotta go get food.
I don't know. Most people in Mason are pretty chill. There was this dude.
Wasn't there like a shooting in Mason like 2 months ago or something?
There's a lot of shootings in Mason.
Yeah, everybody's chilling out in Mason. Real chill. No shootings going on.
Your grandpa used to talk to me about that.
Yeah,
like, you heard about
he
this
fucking
shooting
hates that.
happened
He calls
there?"
that place a shithole, dude. It's terrible, and they've lived here all their life. I trust their opinion more than a lot of people's.
There was one time, oh my god. There was one time when me and my brother-in-law were fucking driving from North Side, and we flicked this old guy off, and he started fucking following us, and we started driving around, and we lost him, and then we went back around the block, and he was
waiting for you.
No, he was pulling into his garage, and we flipped. I think we flicked him off again, or he flicked us off and started following us.
That's hilarious.
And we started fucking losing him again. It was awesome.
Holy fuck.
I was like, imagine.
I lost that guy on Damien. Sorry. You go ahead.
No, you keep going.
I lost that guy when I passed him going to Damien's. Like, took the left, and when he rolled out of the stop sign, that's all he did. All he did was let off the brakes, and he rolled country roads. Just rolled. Was going like 3 miles an hour for like 30 feet. And I hit the stop sign. I'm stopped, check left and right, look, and this guy's only made it 10 feet, and it's been like 10 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck? So instead of pulling behind him and then passing, I just hit the left lane because there was no car coming. You could see for miles. And I fucking pin it, merge, and I'm at like 78, and I look up into my rearview mirror, and he's fucking hauling. He's gaining on me. So I'm like, all right. So I just slam on the gas, and we both top out at like 120 something, and we're not gaining on each other, and I'm not losing him. And I'm like,
speed limit was 120,
okay,
of course.
Yeah. So I was going the speed limit, and we're slamming. I'm like about to call Damien and be like, hey, do you want to just like step outside with the gun or something? That's got this crazy mofo following me. Like, it was some old dude. I saw him when I was passing him. That's probably why he didn't like me, because I made eye contact with him while I was passing.
You're young and he's old, so he's
Yeah,
probably miserable.
but then he banked off right and went on another fuck off country road. But
imagine having no responsibilities and having the time to fucking be so mad at somebody you're gonna follow them and let them take your day home.
I know. I don't know what he thought he was gonna do, because that guy was like old. So if he was to like follow me into a driveway, I would have just pulled him out of the car and got reckless with him, like, you shouldn't be passing. Well, you should be driving the fucking speed limit, retards.
I wonder why we have our youth, and that's... See, I'm kind of at a discrepancy, because yes, being young is great. You have your youth, and the journey is the point. You're fucking building that life that you want. But at the end of your life, if you've done it right and done everything you wanted to do, obviously there's stuff that you can't accomplish because there's so many things to do in this life. But you've made it. You've done everything you needed to do to make it to this point. But yet, old people always, like, there's people who are, like, rich and wealthy that would give up all their money to be youthful again. Which would you rather be? Would you rather have everything you've wanted, or would you rather stay this young and continue to build it? If somebody had to put two buttons in front of you.
I think I'd have to stay young and build it, because once you have everything you wanted, what's next?
Well, that's the thing. I always think about it like Joe Rogan, because he's constantly doing something. Like, he just started his comedy club a week ago.
You gotta keep moving. You can't even...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, like, most people don't have that option, I guess, when they get old, because they don't have the money
I
to
would
keep themselves together.
I would encourage people that think that they would rather just have it all and all that jazz to be like, what are you going to do once you have it all? Because you have it all. You can't do anything. You're not going to gain anything else if you have it all. It's like, you ever played a game with, like, cheat codes or something? And you use the cheat codes? How long do you play?
Minecraft story mode,
yeah,
or creative mode? You have everything?
Yeah, Minecraft's a little different, because you can get, like, I get heavily addicted to Minecraft, and I'll play it for, like, 2 weeks. But, like, San Andreas, or, like, any game where it's, like, hacked and you can, like, have, like, infinite money, infinite health. How long do you play that game?
It's fun for about a week at least.
Usually I don't play it for very long, because I have everything. That's why I don't play, like, GTA anymore, because there's nothing to do. I've done everything.
For some reason, I was reminded of this conversation that I heard today. They were talking about college and shit, and they were talking about how this dude who I was listening to went into the military at 17, got out at 25, went to Yale, and he was the one who made the Luxury Ideas book and shit. And he was talking about how, and Bridget was talking about it too, how people in college, when they get out, they're kind of like adult kids. They don't know how to pay rent. They don't know how to go about car insurance.
There's
they don't
kids
know
with
about
responsibilities.
Yeah, that's the thing. That they were saying, it's like, especially if you go away for college, you move. It's like high school, but less supervision, and you're an adult technically. Yeah,
you want to talk about some stupid financial decisions? How about giving 18-year-olds hundreds of thousands of dollars for student loans? Well, fucking, can you imagine walking up to you as an 18-year-old and being like, here's $100,000, you have to pay this back eventually. And you're just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, fuck no.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, you have to pay this back. There's no way you get out of this. It's a death contract.
I bet that's how a lot of rappers and shit end up in those contracts. They're young, they just want to make it, and then they fucking sign their life away.
$100,000, and then they blow up, and then none of the money is theirs.
Yep.
Shit.
That'd be fucking wild. Like, I want money, and I'm sure if I was a few years younger, I would take the money. I mean, there'd be no doubt. But now that I know a little bit, like, I'd be like, hold on.
You gotta read that whole contract.
Yeah, because, like, that'd be wild.
Ask questions. You gotta think about this.
Plus, I'm just learning how to save my money and, like, not touch it.
Yeah.
And that took, like, I've been working since 14, so that took me fucking almost 6 years to learn how to do that. Because my dad spends money like crazy.
You have a
savings? My mom spends money like crazy. What's that?
You have a savings account?
No, well, I do, but that's too easy because I can transfer the money from my savings to checking just using my phone.
Just don't.
No, I've tried, and that's just hard.
It doesn't work for you.
So I just take it out and put it in my safe now.
Okay, that's like.
That way, I literally can't touch it unless I go home and grab some.
Well, there you go.
But I think that if I were to get like $1 million, yeah, I want $1 million in my lifetime. But if I were to get it right now, I'd probably just blow it all. It's like winning the lottery. You got to change your lifestyle.
I'd buy like 1 million fanny packs.
Buy fucking 1 million Tico burritos.
Oh, how many Tico burritos? It's like $2.39 for a burrito. So it's like $500,000, a little under $500,000 Tico burritos.
That's fucking Tico.
Plus, they'd probably cut you a deal. You could probably get $500,000 Tico burritos.
But then you think about it with the current economy and inflation and shit. Think about how fast $1 million could go. Yeah, a car, a house.
My parents' house is like valued at like $1 million.
There you go. One house could take it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and through their mortgage, I'm sure they're gonna pay well over that.
See, people look at $1 million
taxes.
as a lot, but it's nothing.
Not anymore.
Unless you're making $1
In
million
1990,
constantly.
$1 million was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In 2000, it's probably still a lot. 2010, $1 million was where people could get to. And now $1 million is like, I feel like it's, I mean, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but it's more or less pocket change.
That's
like,
what I was about to say.
You're not going to retire off of $1 million. You can't do that.
No.
Well, I don't know if that's true. You probably could. I mean, if you move to Vietnam, the cost of living per day, even to live like a American standard of life, is not a lot.
That, or if you're smart with it and invest it into like real estate, but even then, the real estate market is shit right now.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what bank is holding that $1 million?
God forbid.
You don't have it in cash.
Mm-hmm. And God forbid school teaches us about fucking stocks and how to get into it.
No, they just I wish they would teach human and personal skills, how to deal with unexpected things, how to pay rent, what an electricity bill is, how to get Wi-Fi, how to do like doctor's appointments, how to be a fucking adult. Mm-hmm. That should be a class.
It's pretty. You know what I was thinking while you were saying that? It's pretty wild that in a capitalist economy, they don't teach us how to be capitalists.
Yeah.
They teach us how to work our lives.
It's almost like that's how the system was intended to work.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
See how deep I'm going down this rabbit hole if the system is working exactly how it's intended?
Oh yeah, I thought the way you fucking thinking right now. I'm like, this place is fucking designed to fucking make us fail. And even if you're, let's say
I don't know if it's designed to make us fail, but it's not designed to let us succeed.
It's because they don't cultivate our minds. That's what I was about to say is, even if you are like a trust fund baby, you have everything you need, then your mind's going to be shit.
Yeah. Yes. Nobody likes you.
And there's so many mental fucking mental obstacles you have to jump over. And if you don't get over them, you could be like an alcoholic. You could be fucking living on the street.
I mean, if you're a trust fund kid and you can't get over those, you're a cokehead. I guarantee you, you're a cokehead.
Hunter Biden?
Yeah. Well, he was a crackhead. Or a meth head?
I think he's crackhead.
He did one of the top three.
Probably all three.
One of the best three, sorry.
There was a concept I listened to today about stability, and there was another one. It was like harshness or something like that. It's like
how to raise your kid. Which one?
Well, both. It's like childhood instability and childhood harshness. Like harshness is when you are raised in like a low income family and shit like that.
You're hungry all the time.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then there's instability where your parent breaks up, or like our situation, like your dad's weird and
whose house you're sleeping at
exactly.
night.
Or like a bunch of people are coming in and out of your house all the time, like moving in, moving out, or your parents change jobs and shit like that. And the childhood instability is a big predictor. Like the childhood harshness, that's usually where people rise and shit like that. But instability is like where you turn into like a drug addict or an alcoholic or something.
Because you've never felt safe.
Mm-hmm.
And you only felt safe when you do the drugs. Yeah. That's a good way to put it, because you remember when you were asking me what the right way to raise a child is?
Mm-hmm.
Stable but harsh, I think. Mm-hmm. But, fuck, the other thing is like a little bit of instability at the right amount without going overboard can make a really good fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because then they could be, like, they've already gone through most of the tough shit in their life, so they're more or less fearless of what they're facing.
You gotta fucking get through it, though. A lot of people don't.
And think about Joey Diaz. Think about fucking all those motherfuckers, man.
It's kind of like it's like mixing a magic potion.
It's real delicate. Yeah, you're making the Powerpuff Girls more or less.
That's crazy. But it was a concept I was thinking about. Oh yeah, like in my situation, I was against drugs. I was against all this shit. I was not trying to do anything like that. I was a really fucking good kid when I was a little kid. Like I was mommy's boy, everything like that. But then as soon as my parents split up, that instability caused me to turn to drugs, turn to a bunch of weird shit. I was fucked in the head. And like obviously I had it still better than most people. Like I'm not mining cobalt for fucking iPhones, but...
That's what I mean though. I was gonna say this, but I kind of couldn't figure out how to word it. Is like, if you have instability and harshness, you hate life while it's happening, but when you come out of it, you are like you're like above a lot of people in terms of mental ability.
It's kind of perspective, isn't it? Because
but a lot of the time, like I wasn't willing to wait. You know.
Yeah, most of us are willing to fucking jump off a
Fuck
bridge
that.
rather than waiting.
Because like we said, everybody, when you're in those positions, you think a lot of people are in your position and that you're not special and that you don't need help because everybody has to deal with this, and that's not true.
That's true. And your perspective is, rather than looking at it, everything as like an obstacle for growth, you look at it as everything's against you, and there's just gonna, like, your car breaks down, your dad kicks you out.
Of course that would happen. Of course.
I'm just gonna fucking
It only
kill
happens
myself.
to me. I'm the foot.
And then you start whining.
Yeah.
I used to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be a whiner.
I would whine a little bit, but I had to do hard work, so that's why I was whining. Well, we got 40 minutes. What do you think?
I think
Probably
that
good.
you need to take your dick off and put it in the cabinet.
Attention. My balls are coming out.
All right.
Ass. A little bit
Whoa,
of cheeks.
whoa,
Whoa, a little bit of cheek.
You got any pods or books or music or?
Music. Blah, 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 blah. For
No.
you go first, because I got to ponder.
You should read The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. You should read both David Goggins books. I've probably said that before. Got a quote. I gotta remember exactly how it goes. It's
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
holding on to anger is like grabbing a hot coal and trying to throw it at somebody. It only burns you.
Yep. Alright, let me get some music.
I'm turning it off.
Oh, I'm fucking with Marlon Craft right now for music. His songs Something Wrong in Heaven and Back to JMO are really fucking good.
Did he make mac and cheese?
He probably did at one point in his life, you know?
Kraft mac and cheese?